Yeah.
All right, hold up.
1, 2, 2, 2.
Good night, greetings everybody. We are G-Syndicate, and tonight is vibes as we syndicate you. Vibes, you know. You're gonna be hearing some songs off our upcoming EP. Think it's gonna be nice. So right about now, we starting with this one. Ready to blow? So are you ready to go? So are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Oh, ready to blow, ready to blow. Oh, so let me go.
Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go.
It's time to start the party. Sometimes we be getting dirty. This time we're starting this thing right. Hey, so just kick off your shoes. It's no time to feel the blues. So baby, we gonna do our thing tonight. Oh, leave the work at home, leave the stress alone, toss away your worries. Ain't got no time for that, baby. Now you got the chance. Lose your fears, just dance. We're gonna rock this party. Just raise your hands if you're ready.
Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go.
It's time for you to be free. Let's just enjoy the party tonight. We just gonna ease our mind. So just leave them on the wall, 'cause we're not gonna stop us all, and we're just leaving all our fears behind. So leave the work at home, leave the stress alone, toss away your worries. Ain't got no time for that, baby. Now you've got the chance. Lose your fears, just dance. We're gonna rock this party. Just raise your hands if you're ready.
Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go.
Let the music take control. Let it seep into your soul. When the bass line comes pulsating, feel the stress keep evaporating. Let it bring me to your mind. There could be no better time to get on the floor, 'cause we're just ready to blow. Ready to blow, start up the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark on the trombone.
Start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go.
Give it up for Mark, y'all. So let me go.
Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go.
Ready to blow,
ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go, let's go. Ready to blow, start up the show, get on the floor, let's go.
Yes, folks, good night one more time. We are G-Syndicate. This next song we're going to do for you, you can find it on our upcoming EP called Revive. We released it last year, and we're ready to rock. This one is called Chemistry.
Hey girl, hey girl, Sweet calico, the honey bar, good looking. The way how you move it, put me in a mood, I'm glad to see you. Your waistline on the baseline, so attractive, I wanna be a captive. I see a smile on your face now, so beautiful, I know you're original.
So come wind up on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come push back on me, don't hold back, gal, just be free. Now you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. That's my baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. That's my baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. We're still grooving. We're still grooving. We're still grooving.
Come talk to me, girl. Classy and intelligent, and you run the world. Let me say face to face. Know you feel the tension, just had to mention. Your brown eyes, shining bright. So gorgeous and glowing like sunlight. I hear your voice, angelic eyes. So amazing, I wanna keep this going.
So come wind up on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come push back on me, don't hold back, gal, just be free. I know you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, gal, you're sweet off. Dance me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause it's still grooving. I know you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, gal, you're sweet off. Dance me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause it's still grooving. Still grooving. Still grooving. Still grooving.
Hey, girl, I wanna take you home with me.
And hey, girl, sugar energy, yeah.
Hey, girl, I wanna treat you right, you see, you see, you see.
Hey, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. What you won't do for love. You try everything, but you won't give up. What you won't do for love. You try everything, but you won't give up. So come wind up on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come push back on me, don't hold back, gal, just be free. No, you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, come and just groove. And I know you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, come and just groove. And I know you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, we're still moving. I know you're not on, show off, show off. You have my attention, and that's for me, baby. Step out, step out. Just keep it moving, though we're still grooving. We're still grooving, still grooving, still grooving. Yeah.
The next selection is entitled Englishman in New York, a song made famous by Sting in the 80s. Hope you enjoy.
I don't drink coffee, I drink tea mate. I like my toaster on one side. You can hear it in my accent when I talk. I'm an Englishman in New York. See me walking down Fifth Avenue, a walking king here at my side. I take it everywhere I walk. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman man, and someone said he's a hero of the day. It takes a man to suffer ignorance and smile. Be yourself, no matter what they say. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Modesty's propriety can lead to notoriety. You could end up as the only one. Gentleness, sobriety, all rare in this society. At night a candle's brighter than the sun. In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made up. There's nothing you can do. In New York, takes more than combat gear to make a man. Takes more than a license for a gun. Confront your enemies, avoid them when you can. A gentleman will walk but never run. If manners make it man, and someone said he's a hero of the day. It takes a man to suffer ignorance and strive. Be yourself, no matter what they say.
We know you sing at home.
Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Englishman in New York City. I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Now, growing up in the 90s, I would have loved these songs. I'm sure those of you that know them will love them as well. So we got two songs coming up for you. We got I Wanna Know by Joe and Someone to Love by John B. and Babyface. Hope you guys enjoy.
It's amazing how you knock me off my feet. Every time you come around me, I get weak. Oh. Nobody ever made me feel this way. No. You kiss my lips and then you take my breath away. So I wanna know what turns you on. Yeah, I wanna know, so I can be all that and more. And I'd like to know what makes you cry. Oh, so I can be the one to always make you smile. Girl, he never understood what you were with. No. And he never took the time to make it worse. More loving girl. Baby, I'm the kind of man who shows consent. Yes, I do. Any way that I can please you, let me learn. So I wanna know what turns you on. Yeah, and I wanna know, so I can be all that and more. And I'd like to know.
Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. Open-mindedness is advised. O
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Podcast. I'm your host, Neil, joined as always by my brother from another mother, and your host, Derek.
Heal.
And we are back in this. Yep, the horn and all, yep. Yep, we are back in the saddle. We are here to talk the things. My brother, how is everything? How are you doing? Talk to me.
I'm good, man. I'm always good. I'm here. I'm here, man. I'm awesome. I'm great.
Right.
How you doing, my brother?
My good, days getting easier.
Good.
Yeah, man. I good. I present and I coated for. So
Good.
half the battle is showing up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you were tuning in before, and those of you that would have been watching before, you would have been hearing some nice young men singing sweetly in front of a red background. That is G-Syndicate, the premier acapella group in the Western Hemisphere. They recently released the virtual concert, which is what you're watching, called Ready to Blow. Derek will speak more about that concert, where to find it, and how to find G-Syndicate, period.
Yeah, man. G-Syndicate, we are G-Syndicate6.com. G-Syndicate6 here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Also G-Syndicate6 on Instagram, but you got to spell out 6 on Instagram. Not trying to build that back after somebody gave us a little bit of a hack. But yeah, man, I see my man Marlon here early. Good to see you, Marlon. Big ups, respect. Big up to the guys in G-Syndicate as well. Kiyoma, Waden, Mark, Brett, and Hugh. Shout out the guys. Always putting in good work. Had a nice solid rehearsal last night. So, as I said, we're shaping up to get back out there and doing some live performances. Excuse me. Live performances. So, yeah, man. Just preparing for that. Again, the repertoire ready. Right. Carry on in the house. Good night to you, Carry on. Good to see you.
Yep. So, good night, everybody that's joining us. So, check out G-Syndicate. Get them a watch, get them a follow, get them a like, get them a subscription, whatever you can. Look for them and enjoy their content. They're really, really good at what they do, and they really do practice their craft. So give them a listen, give them a follow.
Indeed.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed watching the Senate Podcast. Now, like, comment, share, subscribe.
Thinking Persons Podcast.
The Thinking Person, that's right. The Thinking Persons Podcast. I gotta put that in my opening intros. But yes, we are the Thinking Persons Podcast. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Just like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We do content for you 5 days a week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we do the Senate Shorts. Those are a bit lighthearted, a bit more ridiculous, but we do disseminate information and advice whenever we can in those situations. And then we have spaces like this, the live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m., where we speak more about the nitty-gritty, the hard conversations, right? Where we really get into it. We really dissect the man-woman dynamic and the, as some people would say, the ignorance going on about the place. So, to that end, every Tuesday and Thursday, shout out Kevin, what's up? Thanks for joining. Every Tuesday and Thursday, before we get into the live streams, Derek will go on our social media pages, particularly Facebook. You can give us a like and a subscription on the Senate Podcast page. Derek he usually goes on those pages and he would let us know what we are talking about. Today, we are talking about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. But we are talking about sex tonight. We are talking about specifically. We are speaking about can women have casual sex like men without suffering negative effects because of it? Now, this is an interesting topic, Derek, because when I did my sending out to people and stuff like that, a couple of women saying, but yes. In fact, as a matter of fact, I get a yes with an exclamation mark. So that is not yes, that is yes. Right? So, Steve, thanks for joining us. The Bougie man, thanks for coming through. I know you must have had a hard day up on the Vance. Inside joke. Steve, glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. Right. So, yeah, Derek, lead us in sermon. Let us talk about it. Church is in the house. Thanks for joining us, Church. But yeah, remember on your way in, guys, like or dislike. If you like what we put in down, I know those that are here are staunch supporters, so I anticipate.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we do.
Truly do.
Yep. So people are slowly coming in, Derek. So lead us in sermon.
Yeah, man, I can do that. Folks, this is the Senate podcast here on YouTube. I guess we say the Thinking Persons podcast. So give us a like on the way in. And again, we're here to discuss stuff. And I only today saw the tag that you got up, Neil, for the podcast, saying that this is a Caribbean-based podcast about relationships, etc., from a man's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part people miss a lot, the man's perspective part.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's important to say. And I expect that this will be an interesting discussion tonight.
Tallies?
Yeah, because big up Tallies, man. That's my girl.
Tallies East Street back door.
Yeah.
We see you, Tallies.
Good to see you, Tallies. Yeah, I expect that this will be an interesting one because, as you said, you would have sent it out. You would have got very resounding yes. You ladies sing it with a chest, and they can in fact do that. And that was expected. They expected that would be the response you would get. But you know, Neil, we here on this show we tend to deal in facts and data statistics and
facts not feelings. That's what they say, right? Yeah. Facts not feelings. That's what young kids say
feelings. And I know a lot of times ladies, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, ladies aren't too keen to deal with facts and statistics and all that. So those things kind of muddy the waters a little bit for them. And I you know me, Chris Rock, I'm a Chris Rock guy. And Chris Rock, I tell you, ladies, women are not going to allow logic to mess up the argument. So, but yeah, we're here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into it, right? Now, I recently had a conversation with a young lady who expressed concern about the big question these days of what do you bring to the table? Now, you know, we don't use that particular statement here very often.
No,
especially if we can't afford not to, because you know it's so cliches, so overdone. Yeah, you know, you really try not to use that. You got a couple others too. Oh, my truth is another one that we definitely don't use here.
My truth, they got my truth, your truth, and the truth.
Yeah. So we try not to use those because it's so overdone. Things like alpha male or beta male. We try not to use those terms. And because at the end of the day, everybody's a person, and you tend to vacillate between alpha male, beta male,
sigma.
All the other males have got,
sigma, omega, iota, I don't know.
Yeah, all them things. You tend to vacillate between those based on the circumstances, right? When I was doing educational psychology about 20 years ago, one of the comments one of my tutors would say is that, you know, the ages are fixed, the stages are not, and you will find that you can go through stages in life, and then when you're presented with a particular situation, all of a sudden you got to go back a few stages and reassess the problem and come back fresh. So you go back to an earlier stage of your life to kind of help make sense of the current things, right? So that's why we don't really hold on to those terms here. But that aside, the young lady in question, she opined that a woman's presence and sex are actually a lot for her to bring to bear on a relationship, for her to bring to the proverbial table. And given the current state of affairs in the man-woman dynamic, I am actually inclined to think that she may be right. You know, so if she's listening, I think, you know, you may actually be right. That is a lot for a woman to bring her sex. She didn't say sex, but let's say she used another P word to go along with presence, right? And, you know, we had a little back and forth about it, and I showed her, well, there is significantly more to bring past the 2 P's, right? Considering that men bring 4 P's to the table as well. Unfortunately, though, folks, a lot of women don't know how to be in a relationship with a man. Now, before you come for me, think about it, right? When have you ever heard anybody tell girls how to interact with and treat boys? Think about it, right? I've been teaching, it's 2022, so I've been teaching nearly 25 years now. And on occasion, I will say, well, yeah, boys, you don't treat girls like this. But I cannot recall in very recent memory when I would have said to girls, well, yeah, girls, you don't treat boys like that, right? So this leads to many women knowing how to sleep with a man. You could put on the gawk and, you know, with the two hand twist combo and all that. They got that part down, right? But they don't really know how to relate to a man past that. So if she wants to attract and keep a man, what else can she really be expected to bring, to lead with, and bring to the proverbial table? The problem with that, though, Neil, is that the effects of this casual sex thing are very different from men and women. So I know the lady said with the resounding yes, said it with a chest.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We fool like men, right? In these times of equality, women like to think that they can operate like men. They want to do the same things and very often not deal with the consequences of behaving like a man. The reality is, men and women have very different consequences for their actions because we are very different from a biological and evolutionary standpoint, right? I don't want to get too heavy tonight, Neil, because, you know, people don't really be about that shit. You know.
No, not really. No, appreciate it, man. But gotta talk you things. That's what it is. That's what we hear. Mm-hmm.
These days, women have the freedom to do anything they choose, and all the messaging supports this mantra, right? And don't let me fool your foot, right? A lot of men support that too, right? We support women going up there working, doing the thing. Need to tell you all the time, he and I are feminists, right?
We are.
We believe in equality, man, woman, right? We truly do. Women are free to do who and what they want. And mainstream and social media make sure that we know this. I mean, after all, they have agency over their parts, right? That's one of the lines that we would have gotten very, very early in juggling when we started this thing, right?
Yep.
I've never forgotten it. A lot, she loved the line, right? Women have agency
over the parts. But it's funny how that works when it comes to the repercussions.
Well, like I said a few minutes ago, you know, you can do what you want, but dealing with the consequences sometimes be a little different, right? One dating coach, folks, even encourages women to Olympic date. Yeah. Because men have been doing it for years. I am not going to attempt to break down Olympic dating for you. I am going to allow this gentleman to break it down for you. And y'all can weigh in the comment section and let us know what you think about Olympic dating. Let me put out here that Neil hasn't seen this either. So this should be very interesting to hear this. Are you ready, Neil?
All right.
Olympic dating 1 and 2.
Let's get it.
Scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
How women are taught to date. Now hear me out. Most of the time, women are actually conditioned and programmed to only focus on one man at a time. We see it in Disney movies, we see it in rom-coms, and if a woman tends to do something else and date multiple men, for some reason she's given the scarlet letter and considered a slut and a whore. Where at the same time, these men have been doing it for centuries, dating multiple women at the same time. Now, this is about wanting to be chosen instead of doing the choosing. And we have to learn how to do it better, right? I tell all of my dating clients, we need to be Olympic dating. You need to have a gold medalist, a silver medalist, and a bronze medalist at all time, right? This is how what I say, diversify our portfolio, right? Even the best index funds and hedge funds have a diversified portfolio. None of them would just invest in one stock. So I don't want you to invest in one man. This also protects your heart, right? And if one guy's not working out, you got 2 other guys to continue to date and figure things out, and you're not focused on one guy, and you haven't put all of your eggs in one basket. This is about, like I was saying before, choosing instead of waiting to be chosen. Now, I always tell my clients, and I think this is really important, especially for women to hear, that they need to be the CEOs of their love lives, right? Many of the women are actually acting like interns, trying to prove themselves so that they can get the job. Let the men actually prove themselves to you. Hope this helps. Hey girl. So in my last video, I talked about hyper-focusing on one man and how women are conditioned to do it, and how the new way and the better way is to actually date multiple men, or Olympic date. And I got a lot of pushback. The girls wanted to fight me in the comments and just let me know that they can't do it. They can't date multiple men. And what I want to offer to you is that you can definitely do this, right? But we have to think about it in a different way. When you think about dating multiple men, I think that so many of you are thinking that you have to give 100% to all of these men. And the reason why you're thinking this way is because we have been conditioned from our mothers and our grandmothers to think that we have to give 100% to each and every relationship that we have. But dating is not relationships. And sometimes I think we conflate them, or we confuse them, right? You don't owe these men anything when you're dating them, and they don't owe you anything when you are dating them. Yeah, I hope that that makes sense, because so many women are often auditioning to be these men's girlfriends, but that's not how dating is all about. When we date well, it's actually an act of receiving all of the things that these men have to offer. And if receiving feels a little bit uncomfortable for you, then that, I think, is an indication that there's a little bit more inner work that might need to be done. So when we're thinking about dating multiple men, we're not going to give 100% to each and every one of our gold medalists, silver medalists, and bronze medalists. We'll give 33% to each one of them until they can prove that they deserve more of our time and attention and heart space. Now, I know that all of this runs pretty counter and the opposite of how you've been conditioned and told and programmed how to date, but I've been a dating coach for over a decade now, and this advice has been a game changer for so many of my clients, to the point where 90% of my clients are getting into the most amazing relationships of their life after my 6-month program. So if that's something that you're interested in, click the link in my bio and book a consultation call. I hope that this is really helpful for you.
Yes, please. All right. So, man, had a lot to say, my brother.
Yeah, he did. Not much of it made sense, but he did.
He did.
So that's Olympic dating, folks. For those of you who want to give it a shot, now you can have the opportunity to do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, folks, because women's biological makeup and let me leave that biology for now, is not the same as men's, you will have different outcomes for the same actions, right? This is the part that the mainstream media and dating coaches like our friend just now is not sharing with women. And when the deleterious effects kick in, it's usually men who end up being the ones to get the blame, right? One such effect is difficulty pair bonding. And if you're known to the streets, we get my guy future there. She belongs to the streets. If you're known to the streets, even finding a partner can be a challenge. So check this screenshot. He's gonna put on screen for you.
Mm-hmm. There you are.
You on screen?
Yes, sir.
And it goes, I hate how men value my body count, right? I know we don't like to talk about body count here. Well, sorry, the ladies don't like us to talk about body count.
There you
know,
go.
we like to ignore the fact that it matters, but it matters to men, so it matters, right? And she says, to start this out, I'm 23 and have had sex with 36 men, which I know is more than average, but it's my life. I wanted to have all the fun I can. Nothing wrong with that, right? Unfortunately, there will be consequences. She says, in the last year, I've calmed down. I want to settle down and find a man to settle down with and start a family, but that's effing impossible. When I match with a guy or just meet one in real life, the question they all ask is, what's your body count? That's a little rude, let me be honest, right?
Facts.
Especially if you don't meet the person, right?
Yep.
When I tell them, I get a disgusted look usually and get ghosted. I say that speaks volumes, huh? One time I was told I've been ran through by a guy who I thought was so sweet. It just sucks. I'm more than the men I've slept with. I have cool hobbies and interests, and I've got a nice job after graduating high school. I guess I'll be a whore in every man's eyes. No. Don't let mainstream media and social media fool you, ladies. Casual sex doesn't benefit you as much as they want you to believe, right? It doesn't. That's just the reality. Because at the end of the day, you trying to get with men, and look at what is important to the men. Yeah, I know you can hear, oh, it's hypocritical, it's a double standard, is this, that, and the next, the third. But guess what? That's what the men want. They do not want somebody to hear the young fella tell it that's been ran through, right? They just don't. And I would have done a live stream months ago back in season 1 when I would have said in the live stream, well, hey, fellas, you know, you don't need to worry about body count so much because the reality is, shoot, that girl's 23 and she has 36 partners. How many you can see you have 36 partners as a man? Men don't get sex like that. Women have all the opportunity in the world to get sex. And that's what makes this such a challenge for them. They got the opportunity to do it way easier than we do as men. Way easier. So now you're asking women to ignore their physical attractions, etc., and be chaste and pure as the driven snow. But we, on the other hand, as men, sexual opportunists, vultures almost, we out here kind of living it up as far as they're concerned, right? But it doesn't benefit you ladies, unfortunately. But hey, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Let's take a look at the research and come back. No, don't curse me and Neil. Don't curse me and Neil. This is the research, all right?
Shout out Laura. Laura just easing the back too. Thanks for joining, Laura.
Yeah? Always good to see Laura in the house. Yeah, don't curse me and Neil. This is the research, all right? Let me know when you're ready, Neil, when I can go.
You are on screen.
Yeah, it says casual sex generally leads to more positive emotional outcomes for men than for women, study finds, right? Women report significantly more regret, loneliness, and unhappiness than men in the wake of a hookup, according to a new research published in the journal Sexuality and Culture. The new findings also indicate that engaging in casual sex to cope with negative emotions tend to lead to negative emotional outcomes. Well, the Aussie old people tell you, you start bad, you can't end good, right? And that's for both men and women, right? So we see that the casual thing got effects for both sides in the interest of fairness and balance, right? You know, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It seems as though the increasing popularity of online dating is making short-term relationships more readily available to both men and women. And this is select men, by the way, right? Said study author Ryan Anderson, a teaching associate at Monash University. At the same time, we are currently in the midst of an era where normative gender roles are certainly changing and are arguably different to what they were 20 plus years ago. Although this particular topic has been studied numerous times previously, it is very interesting and informative to re-examine the phenomenon of participation, in casual sex in light of these circumstances. In the study, 701 men and women between the ages of 18 and 82, so we got a nice wide cross section, were asked a variety of questions about their most recent hookup experience, including their motivations to engage in the hookup and its emotional outcome. The researchers defined a hookup as any sexual activity from a kiss to coital intercourse outside of a committed relationship. That is important, outside of a committed relationship. These days, we don't really talk about marriage like that, Neil. So I am not going to bring marriage to the table like that because most people tell me they're trying to get married, right? So we can say long-term committed relationship right now. And we put in marriage as well, right? It goes on. About half of the sample indicated that they were currently in a relationship while the other half was single, right? That too is important. Because half of the people in a relationship, half single, but the entire study is about hooking up. So we see what's going on there already, right? Anyhow. Men and women were equally likely to report engaging in the hookup because they were physically attracted to the other person or for personal enjoyment, which supports the idea that social stigma surrounding women's sexual agency is diminishing. The researchers said, kinda sorta, because men still hold true to those very traditional norms. They still acknowledge the stigma, for want of a better word, right? And the young lady just now, she told us exactly that. That from the time she mentions her body count, men is be, nah, thanks, I'll pass. And she gets ghosted. She's 23, right? So it's still very much a thing. So yeah, the social stigma is diminishing, but is it really diminishing for men? Or is it just diminishing? Or are men just saying, well, yeah, I ain't really cool with it, but I ain't choosing she? Because men could be cool with it. Yeah, she could sleep with who she wants to sleep with, but my girl, nah. Men get very, very picky when it comes to getting married, right? When it comes to their girl. As a man who's trying to block their personal girl. Yeah, we lash anything. Showed up with my Steve. We lash anything. But when it comes to being you personal girl, no, the girl that you can't hold to mommy, the girl that you are going to spend your money, time, energy, resources on, to a man, she has to be better than the girl that you can just find in the streets, right? That's just the reality, ladies. Don't come for me. That's how it is. That's life, right? Sidney Poitier, his character, Mark Thackeray in To Serve With Love, at the line where he says, no man likes a slut for long. That's why the line's in there.
But hold on, Derek. No, you know, people can say that movies was from the 60s and times are changing.
Oh yes, Neil. There's always a thread.
Always.
So what I do.
I know,
right?
brother man. I just
because I know you play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, we would have spoken about Civil War, correct?
That's right.
And I said that men were like what? Like whom? Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Men were like Steve Rogers. In that, you know, we are still very, very traditional as men. We come up, we still very much in that mode of, yeah, I want my girl to be as virginal as possible, even though I am not a virgin myself, right? So we still hold fast to their values as men from the 40s, 50s, even if they tell you that they don't. Because they got men, let me rant a little bit here, you know, I don't be the person to rant, but let me rant. They got men that's come in this chat, right? I come and watch these shows for the night. I get to talk a lot, dog. I say how much misogynist I is. Meanwhile, them is the men that talking to their women and telling their women to lose weight and all kind of thing, right? Don't say open, but they talk at home. Yeah? And them insisting that their woman must cook for them. They got a special day, so them woman must cook for them. Right? Irrespective of what she cooking in the house. So he's to get his own special pot. But he's a misogynist, right? Don't mind telling the woman that she fat. But I digress. Let me come back to my point, right? So the point, men are still very traditional in what they look for in their women, right? We ain't talking about the women that are gonna lash and dash pun, show those Stephen Wu. We talking about the women that are keeping, the women that carrying home, right? And who vexed about the little rant just now?
Hit dogs is solid, is what you say?
Correct. Showed up Ramel Miller. Although this is a topic which has been thoroughly investigated in the past, we are arguably in an era at the moment where gender norms and expressions of sexual orientation are different to any other time in history, Anderson told Site Post. But women were more likely than men to report that they had engaged in the hookup because they were feeling miserable, feeling lonely, felt pressured by the other person, or wanted to feel better about themselves. Women were also more likely than men to report negative emotional outcomes such as loneliness, unhappiness, rejection, regret, general negative feelings, and a perception of negative judgment from others. Conversely, men were more likely than women to report positive emotional outcomes such as greater sexual satisfaction, happiness, self-confidence, contentment, and mood improvement. Anderson and his colleagues also found evidence that particular motivations to engage in hookups were associated with negative outcomes. Having casual sex to deal with feelings of loneliness, misery, unhappiness, and irritability was associated with negative emotional outcomes. So you can't cheer up yourself with sex, essentially, is what they're trying to say. That part, well, I guess my perspective as a man is very different, because it did say that men we have a different outcome, right? In mood improvement being one, right? But the researchers did not find a motivation that was associated with positive emotional outcomes. It's very difficult to predict when someone will have positive outcome from engaging in casual sex. We certainly found things that predicted negative outcomes following casual sex, and there was pretty clear evidence that there were striking gender differences here. Striking. As is typically found with this kind of research. Consistent with the previous research, we found that casual sex generally leads to more positive outcomes for men than for women, and nothing we looked at actually predicted a positive outcome for women. One thing which we can kind of infer from the data is that if you are engaging in casual sex for the purpose of alleviating some kind of emotional hardship or stress, it is unlikely to lead to a positive outcome. Most of the sample, 75.8%, identified as heterosexual, approximately 15% identified as bisexual, and 8.4% identified as homosexual. I guess a really big caveat here, and something that I think would be quite valuable to understand, is how non-heterosexual individuals differ specifically from heterosexual individuals. Anderson said, for example, there is empirical evidence suggesting that gay men are more likely to engage in acts of casual sex than either heterosexual men or heterosexual women. So the gay men getting it in, it seems. But looking beyond that, it would clearly be valuable to understand how attitudes towards casual sex differ depending on an individual's sexual orientation. More specifically, are we able to identify certain factors that predict certain outcomes in, for example, gay men or lesbian women, right? That is the end of that, right? And as I would have said, there's the research, folks. They say me and you making it up, right? So again, those of you who want to come and talk dog and label me as whatever, fight with the research. Quarrel with the research. Don't come for me. Now, we would have spoken about attraction a few weeks ago. And we established that attraction is not a choice, right? We like what we like. Right? Men like breasts, legs, hips. Women like height, body structures, facial features, that kind of things, right? So the attractions will always be there. The attractions will always be there. It is whether we are going to give in to those attractions or not. That is the question that we're going to ask ourselves, right? This is a list of the side effects of casual sex for women, right? We just went through them, but let me highlight them again. Loneliness, unhappiness, rejection, and a perception of negative judgment, as compared to sexual satisfaction, happiness, self-confidence, contentment, and mood improvement for men. Ladies, does it sound like you're getting a fair exchange? Yeah, does it sound like you're getting a fair exchange? I mean, you answer with your chest. When Neil sent out the message, answer with your chest, no. Right? Send back the, if you think it's a yes, send back yes with the exclamation marks, right? And again, this is me or Neil. This is research. So you know who to argue with. Ladies, this is why it becomes critical for you to think twice about casual sex, right? Now, let me be clear. Nobody, least of all Derek Marshall, is telling you not to have sex. And certainly we are not trying to police your sex life. Let that be clear.
Not me.
Not me. Yeah? Ain't nobody trying to police your sex life. Yeah? Again, you have agency over your parts. But please remember, the outcomes are not the same as they are for men. So it may be in your best interest for you to have sex within the framework of a stable relationship, whatever that looks like for you. Now I know. You ladies are going to say to me, but Derek, not for these men in the use. There's no uses, as Neva said. There's no news. They're in the nooses. So what are you supposed to do? Well, we did a show called Next Level a few weeks ago, months by now.
Months.
Yeah. And it gave you 5 options in that episode. So you can go back and watch that episode to get those 5 options, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe I don't know if you could post a link in the chat for people to refresh their memories. But I can bring up 2.
Mm-hmm.
2 options I can suggest for you ladies, because it's important to have a relationship and have sex within a relationship. Don't just be loose about yourself, world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you say, well, hey, I'm a queen and I'm valuable and I am rare commodity and then that valuable and rare that everybody could get. Okay? So the 2 options I'm going to suggest for you from the Next Level episode: be a cougar. Yeah, we spoke about age gap dating last week, well, a few weeks ago rather. Be a cougar or share the man you want, right? We spoke about age gap dating, we went through the whole list: Tandy Newton, Keisha Cole, Madonna, Kim Kardashian, Keisha Cole, Layla Anthony. You see, they got a whole set of them, right? So that's an option. You could get a young boy that's not on your level, though. Please remember that he's not going to be on your level, and he got to play some stick like Venice Richards. But know that you are going to be the man in the relationship. And when he's got himself right and money up and all that, he's probably going to move on, right? So you have to be prepared to deal with that, right? And we may complain all the time that they may support men, and then the men just go down and left them. So
yeah,
that is not unusual. That's not unprecedented. It's just a case now that you can be older, getting with a young fella. Yeah. Or option number 2 for tonight, you can share a man you want. The man you want, the man that you consider worthy enough to get you and have access to you, right? Now, it ain't gonna be a full relationship because that man can probably go a woman because you're sharing, right? So you can probably go a wife and children and home and thing. So you're gonna be sharing this man, right? But again, this is not unprecedented. This has been done for millennia, right? So there's a reason that kings had access to all the women. Yeah, that had the status, that had the power. They could do it. It's a little dicey in these times now because, things change and all that. But if you don't think a man is on your level, get one that you think it is. That is, and you can share it out, man. And I'm not saying this from a position of hatefulness. I'm saying this from a position of reality, facts, whatever you want to call it. Just what the situation is, right? Nor am I encouraging, let me be very clear here again, nor am I encouraging adultery and infidelity and all that. But I'm saying, when we went through that Next Level episode, we discovered that settling, everybody tired settling, when we discovered that, I had to do it, man. I
understand, man. I understand.
We discovered that settling is not an option for women. Women are just not attracted to men who are beneath them. Let me go back quickly and highlight the effects of settling, right?
Shout out Rihanna. She just come through back door too. We see you.
Settling is the worst option, folks. And this is from a couple of weeks ago. Should successful women settle for men they don't want? Nope. Why not? To be honest, based on what, outlined to you, assortative mating and mating value, etc., women can't. They can't settle. Studies have proven that women who mate more than their partner face double the likelihood of divorce. And we already know that women are initiating divorce at an 80% rate. Another fun fact, they fake orgasms at double the rate of women who have partners that make more than they do. So literally, your body does not respond to men who are not on your level. And then in an ironic twist of fate, the men that you have that are beneath you actually end up cheating on you at double the rate. Yeah. But that was an aside. That was just me touching back on that episode. Those of you who are interested, I would definitely recommend you go back and watch that. Probably one of my best sermons, if I do say so myself, right? Because we deal here, folks, in stats, we deal in research, we deal science. And again, I know that that's hard for some people to fathom because, again, we talk about feelings. How do we mix facts and feelings, right? People's feelings.
Facts and feelings are not friends.
Yeah, but the reality is you have to apply the data, the research to these things so that we understand why things happen, right? These are not the best options, being a cougar or sharing a mind. These are not the best options for us, but they're options nonetheless. Because ideally, we all want that special person that we can share, love and life with and be in a solid relationship. That's what we all want. Any day we all want love, right? So you may have to get 50% of the love that you want as opposed to 100% of the love that you don't want. Rather than going out and saying, you know what, I can just, I try to find a diplomatic way to say this, but I can operate like a man. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, I'm going to be as sexually opportunistic as a man and let the trips forward in me.
Mm-hmm.
The research has shown, ladies, that does not yield the best outcomes for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed watching the Senate podcast. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Just like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit notification bell so you don't miss anything. And yeah, we see some people coming in. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. And as always, some of you are staunch supporters, and some of you may be new, some of you may be hiding. But regardless, give us a like, give us a dislike if you like what we put it down. If you don't like what we put it down, share this content. That is most important so we can build this community. Now, I am not going to be too long tonight because I would really like to get some engagement from the people in the chat, particularly somebody to call in or a few people to call in, particularly women to chime in and sound off on what is being said here tonight because, I don't want to be accused of not being balanced, not being fair. I don't want to be accused of us talking for women or feeling like, mansplaining. So, we can give you all the opportunity to sound off and y'all could call in. But what I will say about it is that, it's funny when I posted this, one of the people that watch our show, she was like, men suffer from casual sex too, right? Men suffer the ill effects of casual sex, and yes, some men. You're talking about pair bonding. You're talking about being intimate with somebody, right? No, men can be callous, right? Men can lash and dash as, that is said. Men could do those things. Men could be outright, what's the word? Callous. I used that word already, but they can
mercenary.
Mercenary is a better word. Yes, they can be very mercenary when it comes to these things. And at the end of the day, me personally, I think that you gotta have a very keen understanding of yourself and understand what you want from life and where you are in a particular situation, right? As Derek said, we're not here to police anybody's sex life or tell anybody what they should or should not do or whatever like that. There are some times when we're in a space of just wanting to scratch an itch or, I like seeing a want here. Let me see what we could happen. And, men, as Derek said, are sexual opportunists. If a woman is willing to sleep with us, chances are we will act upon it. Particularly if we are single, and the opportunity presents itself. But I find that, we've talked about it ad nauseum. We've brought research and everything like that. in previous episodes, women are more emotional than men. Not saying men are not emotional, not saying men are not capable of a length and breadth of emotions, but men and women process emotions differently. And we process things a little differently. We're about 60% the same in terms of psychology and psychological makeup and everything like that, but we still process things in a very different way, particularly when it comes to intimacy. Now, this goes back to something we would have talked about on this channel. I remember some months ago, but we would have talked about, can a man still love a woman? Can a man still love his woman and cheat on her? You know what I mean? That was something we talked about. And I remember there was a little fallout from that. A lot of women was like, hell no, was this nonsense and this 9X. And, men and women process sex very differently. Now, obviously, as Derek would have read and as we all know, there are certain things that are changing in that dynamic. There are some women moving like men or moving mercenary, and also too being opportunists and saying, well, I just trying to get some of that meat. But I think that there is a cost to that more so for women than men. Women bear the initial consequences of a sexual encounter and the results of that than men. And, we all know that, you lash and dash once, that's fine. That's cool. One night stand or a once encounter, that's fine. But you going back to the source, and then one day you find yourself asking the man if you eat. That is not a casual relationship anymore. And let's be honest there, but again, in the spirit of fairness and in good faith, there are men like that too that all of a sudden thought about grand and glorious rising. Right? But by and large, men are more are easy. They can compartmentalize their emotions and their feelings a little better than women when it comes to these things. It may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I'm saying that men can shut off that emotional switch and say, listen, I agree, this woman that is just a lash and dash, don't get caught up. Right? Some men get caught up, some men don't. But women would say, yeah, this is just a lash and dash, but then would get intimate and read things into situations and go into things. Now, I remember when we had that episode, one woman was saying, the problem with some of the men is women want to cuddle, right? There's a lash and dash, and all of a sudden, women want to cuddle, right? I found that particularly hilarious because it implies that women just want the lash and dash and go home, right?
Yeah.
But
and Neil, not across, that you mentioned cuddling. We have one that supports that, right? So you could rest on screen as you go down the lane.
All right, let me get on screen here real quick. Here we go. A guy you don't like trying to cuddle me irritates me to fuck. Walk me through your thought process on how he got to be in the same yeah. But yeah. As I said, I was trying to be succinct again all over the place, but let me just bring it home here. But yeah, I think that it comes back to women believing that they can move and operate like men. When you have no idea what men do, you may see from the surface that men out there, lashing and dashing, have the ability to have sex casually, etc. And to be honest, some of you are very y'all reprimand us on that. Like how y'all men are dogs and this and that and the next. However, some of the same women that want to reprimand us, they also want to move with that level of autonomy and move with that level of just behavior. They just want to have sex with who they want, when they want, if they want. And I just find no, I have a problem with it. It's very hypocritical because if you can reprimand me for playing with matches and saying I can't understand why you would always play with matches, use it. I can't believe people like you that's play with matches. That's the problem with the world today, and this and that and next and third. And then you saying I have the right to play with matches. I want to play matches too, and I could go there and play with matches if I want. Then I got a problem with that. Keep that same energy. If you think that men are dogs and men going about how they move in a casual setting and turn off their emotions, and you feel as a woman you can do that too, and why are you reprimanding us for casual sex? You know what I'm saying? But that's an aside. I think that I personally would warn anybody about casual sex. I would warn anybody, if you're gonna go down that line of casual sex, you gotta understand what you about. You gotta understand what it is, and you have to understand not to get sprung and caught out there, man or woman. It doesn't matter, because we all know situations where a man got a wife and an outside woman, and vet say outside woman got a man.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
he's got that sort of foolishness. So you got understand what it is. You got to play your part. And as much as people believe that you should be transparent and honest and open in a relationship, you even got to be doubly so in a casual relationship, because you are essentially letting that person know what's the deal, right? Anytime a person doesn't know what the deal is, and you leave it up to interpretation, they can interpret whatever they want to interpret. But if you say, here, tune, right, this way it is. When I call you past 10 o'clock. This way it is. If the person agrees to that term, then that is what it is. It can't be, you only call me at 10 o'clock. You don't carry me away for saying to eat. Grand a glorious rising, my sweetheart. How you doing? Nah. Then how does work? So, yeah, be very careful when we talk about casual relationships. And I think that the thought process, and the turning off of emotions when it comes to casual sex is easier for a man to do than or rather, it is harder for a woman to do than it is for a man, because a man is just operate. Man understand that this is just what it is. They're just trying to fulfill a physiological need. But of course, women will start to process things a little differently and stuff like that. So then that's my 2 cents. That's how I feel about it. What I will do is I don't know if anybody got anything to say in the chat, but I will be opening the phone lines because I want to hear from people, particularly women, particularly some of the women that said it with a chest. I really do. I do want to hear
tonight.
I do want to hear from the people, and I want people to sound off and let us get the conversation going, because I think that something as controversial as sex is something that we need to talk more of and be more honest, because particularly in 2022, the access to sex is far easier than any other time in history.
Yep.
People could go, their apps literally dedicated for that. So yeah, you could dive in the comments as I get this link.
No problem. I ain't seeing many here tonight. Although Rihanna and Rihanna did just comment. Rihanna says, as a woman, if you're going to be in a casual relationship, make sure he's emotionally and even physically unavailable. Example, he's a tourist and in the country for a week or two. Yeah, you gotta kind of put some parameters on it, because the reality is sex bonds people. So more sex you having with them, closer you get. Carry on says, who the hell messaging talk about no grand or glorious raisin, sweetheart? Hello, Lord, is what we really doing. Girl, you'd be surprised.
You would be surprised. Glad and glorious.
Yes,
that
but
happens.
you be a queen. That is a thing. Carry on.
That happens. That happens. When a man want favor from a woman, that's what he does.
Yeah, without understanding how the relationship goes, attraction, seduction, comfort. So the men is trying to get to the comfort first. You know what I mean?
Familiarity.
Yeah, and it don't really work like that.
Nope.
Because if you're woman attracted, she ain't attracted. But what happens with the attraction? How do you manage it? Because again, you don't just want to be knocking from pillar to post, man or woman. Because it does impact. We don't talk about it enough, I guess. But it does impact men's ability to pair bond as well.
Yep.
So that's something that men need to be careful of. And it requires a lot of soul searching and introspection to really be able to say, well, you know what? Let me come out of that life. Let me sort out myself and go a different road. Yep. Carry on. Casual sex can be had for both men or women once boundaries are clear. Yeah. But as Rihanna would have said, you got to kind of make sure the person is unavailable, because then they're worse than the relationship being that you try. So the person is close, you got access to, but you still don't have access to. You know what I mean? And them is the kind of things as make you start getting out of whack and losing forget your role. Forget your role. Because then all of a sudden, now, I was talking to a lady very recently, and she and I talked very frankly, and she was saying, you know, she got two men at the moment, right? And, she got two men at the moment. And one guy, he is the provider. The other guy, he provides the stick, right? The guy providing this, both men are married. This is another fascinating thing about it. Both of them are married, right? And the man providing the stick knows about the man providing. But the man providing the stick seems to want to provide stick often. And does not seem to be happy with the fact that he has to give way to the man who's providing. And you know, it's a situation where it's like, all right, brother, but you punch triangle right now. We talk about this Tuesday. You punch triangle. Play a triangle.
Just
As a matter of fact, I remember sharing this very analogy with her. Keep a triangle. This is you gig.
Play the background. Play the
background. I remember when I was studying, right? We had a class for recitals. You prepare, you put together your little band, you come and you perform in front of your tutor and stuff like that, building your set for final recital.
Right. And
I remember we had one girl, it was her gig, and she was going through her rehearsal. And she had a sax player in the band. And when it was his time to play a solo, my guy started, and my guy doing this solo, I play real licks and thing, this solo, nice. Mm-hmm. And when he was done, his tutor said, all right, stop a minute, hold on. And I said, this is not your gig. This is not your gig. You are supporting her. So you can't step in and play you one upstage the woman. Mm-hmm. Play enough for it to be nice, but don't play so much that you upstage in the woman. Right. So in that particular situation with my friend I was speaking to, you punch triangle. Your job is to come provide and stick the long home at your woman, at your wife. Her man, the other man, he's the man running things. He's the main man. So you used to come, do what you gotta do, go home. Don't play you won't be coming in, I won't place and laying down and got toothbrush, I won't place and all. Nah, that for you. Turn where you step out your shoes, point their face and back out your door. Do what you gotta do, step in them and go on back out.
Don't put the wall side.
Yeah, don't put the wall side. Don't bring in the pants and left it there and all that. So, nah, that ain't called to you.
Yeah.
That ain't called to you. That ain't your rule. You on triangle. Ding, ding, ding. That's you. Yeah. You punch triangle. You know what I mean? Know your rule. So, yeah, you see Marlon here saying, you see this boundaries thought doesn't always work. Yeah, it doesn't always work because somebody's go to whack. Somebody's forgetting the rule.
Because, and this is my thing, right? I as a person that I have had casual relationships as well. What you start to realize, right, is if you can have a casual relationship with somebody once, twice, don't tap back 3, 4, 10 times, 16 times you're dealing with this man for 5 years and stuff like that. Every time you want itch or a scratch, you're going to deal with this woman or whatever. Because you are building routines, you're building habits, you're building familiarity, right?
A relationship.
And at some point, you're going to go up by the man or the woman, right? And the rain going to be blowing hard. It might be tired. You might, you end up sleeping there.
Cozy.
Yeah, you sleeping there. Cozy. I remember I had a casual relationship with thing, right? And the woman was upset because I wouldn't let her sleep with me. But we agreed to a casual relationship.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
change the terms and conditions now.
As a matter of fact, she approached me with the casual relationship. She saw me, I likes you and wants you.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
So this way it is. I ain't looking for the man. So whatever, I just want some of that steak. I say, all right, but here I say we're gonna have to have a couple conversations before because we had a couple conversations, terms and agreements, contract was kind of verbal contract was brought up. And everything was going good for the first few months as it usually does. And one day the woman was like, first things first, there was a problem with me. We don't really talk throughout the day. We don't contact each other. And then it was like, you don't let me sleep, but you always come here and thing. And then it's gotta go home and thing. I just be upset, crying to my friends that you want. I said, but if you sleep here, you wake up in the morning, I can't just rush you out the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Shame.
so then no, it's a familiarity. But that again, it is. You have to be as Derek said, mercenary. It is a mercenary life that you're doing because you have to close off intimacy. You gotta close off the emotional intimacy, right? As a person that has had casual relationships before, the issues arose when we did things like cuddling, when we did things like how you doing, when we did things like man, let me go for something to eat, when we start to say, man, I having such a rough day. So what happened? Tell me about your day. Them is boyfriend and girlfriend things.
Yeah.
You understand me? Yeah. When the agreement is lash and dash. If you and I agree that this is just a casual relationship, you go once, you go twice, maybe 3 times. But anything past that, you're sticking up. You're parking. You understand me? So
you're loitering.
You're loitering, right? And when you start to do that, you start to build familiarity emotionally. And you start and men, don't get tired. Please do it too. Don't get tired because we be sticking
especially
in.
if you got nice.
Yep. We be there and we be front and center. We be lashing and dashing. And as much as you try to emotionally shut off yourself or whatever, when you see the woman talk about how I can't do this no more. I think I'm ready for a relationship and you're not ready for a relationship. And you see she with the new man, you upset. Yeah. But don't get upset because this is the program. This is the program. That's why I say it is very, very challenging to have a casual relationship, particularly with the levels of intimacy we do, right? Some men can lash and dash and get up and left. Some men just want cuddle. Some men just don't got the heart for it. Some women are very mercenary. Some women just come, lash and move. I know a partner of mine had a situation that to me was, the woman was so a gangster. The woman, it was literally that. She was like, yeah, it's 10:05. I want some action. When we used to get her action, when the action done, get up and move. And a cuddle, right? And he was cool with that because that's where he was, that's where she was, and that was what the agreement was. Obviously, it didn't last long. Obviously, they're everything cool. But the point remains is that when you start to say, cha, I wonder what she doing. or I wonder if he eat.
Or worse, you in your car driving past your house. Slow look at this. What is she home?
Yeah.
What if she get out her?
Nah, B. That's why I say a casual relationship. You gotta really lock into your mind that this is what it is.
This is what it is.
And recognize that this is a limited time offer. This is not. This is 3 or 4 or 5 months, a year, 2 years. I have heard of people having casual relationships, right? Yeah, when I want peace, I just call you up and think how long one is off and on dealing. And we first start dealing about 5-10 years ago. It's like, right? No.
But I'll tell you this right, Neil. To that point, that is possible.
I'm not saying not. Yes, that is.
To Rianne's point, because Rianne said they're gonna be physically or emotionally unavailable.
Right.
And this is why I love what we do, right, Neil? Because we are able to speak to these things. Well, I can speak for myself. Let me put you in this here. I am able to speak. Normally, when you find male content creators, right? You got the male content red pill creators who are angry, upset, bitter because they get burned before in life, right? Then you got the content creators. I ain't gonna call nobody on that side. Right. Then you got the content creators who are more willing to pander to women and say what women want to hear and stuff like that. The Derek Jacksons of this world, the ES Metaphors, for example, right?
Right.
Generally speaking, if you observe ES Metaphor, Derek Jackson, for example, Stefan Labossiere, right? Very attractive guys. Matthew Hussey to a less extent. Very attractive guys, and they're able to tell women what they want to hear. Women swoon, that kind of thing. It's all good in the hood, right? Because they are the men that women find physically attractive. They are the men that women want to get with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on this side of the thing now, women generally they don't be that attractive. It's certainly not like Eddie Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson 6'5", enough muscles and thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But men in the male-centered content, not as physically attractive and stuff like that, has some bad experiences with women, that kind of thing, right? We don't have that challenge, Neil. Both of us are 6 feet tall, or about over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think
we are bad looking fellas.
Yeah, we are harping the ice. I don't think.
Right? So we have a very unique position because we see both sides of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the time again rough up. I'm wondering, Lord, what the women do we or what we do the women at the rough we up so.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the time, you know, we was the man.
Yeah.
And as I like to say these days, some days it's the statue, some days it's the pigeon, right? And we have the time as both statue and pigeon.
Fast.
So we are uniquely positioned to talk about these kind of things, right? So that's another thing. When you see me and you come here, we talk about you tonight. Sure, we've been through it on both sides.
That's right.
Right. So to the point I was making, it is possible to be in a relationship for an extended period with somebody that is and it's just casual. But as Rihanna said, that person has to be physically and emotionally unavailable. You can't get access to them as you like. You can't call them as you like. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. That body call you. Yeah, there's a hookup. Yeah, I bought it. Come true. That's the only way it works for an extended period. And I've been in one or two of those, you know, because, you know, life.
Life, that's true. Is here, you start here. Oh, you only call me when you want thing. You only call me. But this is the terms
the arrangement.
These are
called terms and conditions. If you want to negotiate,
yeah, that's different.
You have your people call my people. We can renegotiate this here, but
we could have a negotiation. But
and you know, I find it very often women are the ones who initiate a casual relationship. Think about it.
On facts. That when they think
because
about
man knows
mm-hmm.
that traditionally speaking, he can't walk out the room and say, "Yeah, Alexia, and I want you. I want some of this action here."
Nope.
It don't work. It don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So a man really is going to try that tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's like uber pre-selected.
Mm-hmm.
A la Derek Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men they can try that.
Men they can try that. Especially in an age with social media where you can get out and blasted real quick. Because if you step and you say, "Yeah, I like you," I have never approached a woman and said, "I likes you and I wants you. I just want some of that love." Never. However, the flip side has happened to me so often. Now, if I pick that job or not, that's different. But I have gotten a lot of offers, right? I have gotten offers as up to recently, right? And it's like, nah, I already sis. I good, sis.
I'm all right.
I good. You know, picking a job work just so, especially as you would have said a couple of weeks, Derek, man. You already been in that situation. You know that that's a limited time only offer. That's something that one, you know that emotionally you can't give to that day anymore or shut off yourself emotionally to that anymore. And two, yeah, about that drama, yeah, about that stress, you want like all of a sudden
because different things in life.
Because it's hard to call a woman. You call at 10 o'clock. You ain't hear the woman for the whole day. You hear she for the week. You call she 10 o'clock. Say, yeah, you busy? You know what I mean? Like at some point you say, "Child, I can't just call shit." So let me.
Yeah, this is a little rough.
Yeah, let me just. How you doing? How work was today? And then when you start doing that thing, so it's and I ain't there no more with that. You see some activity in the
Yeah, I see my guy Phil. Shout out Phil in the chat.
Phil.
Good to see you as always, my brother. Just slide back here. Carry on. Says, I wonder about the emotional component from a biological sense and coupled by social conditioning. Women taught as girls to be prudes. Definitely. But they see, based on what we see, there seems to be a reason for that. Right? And don't fool your foot, right? Don't fool your foot. At the end of the day, everybody still want that connection with somebody. Everybody still wants some kind of love in the heart, You know what I mean? And I am going to show you what I mean, right? A couple weeks ago, we did a show. We did a live stream about marriage being a scam, right? Where the women are taken advantage of. Neela just sent you a video if we could get it on screen, but you can go on mute it because it got some music in it, right? You know, the copyright and all that there.
Right.
Right? And this lady.
Just real quick, we could get away with okay, so she's not talking, this is words.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right? So this lady, she was the first lady that we showed on that live stream, and she talked about she doesn't want to be in a relationship, she doesn't want to do anything for a man, etc., etc., etc. But this video, I didn't want to like put all of her stuff on blast. I didn't want it to feel like if this was a hit piece. But this is a video, same lady. Yeah. So when you ready, Neil?
All right, just give me 1 second. Get that on the screen real
So let me read another comment in the meantime. Steve, I've been hearing from other content creators that the man that's not in the stable relationship gets full access. Example, side man getting the threesomes, etc. Man, dude can't even broach the subject. Yeah, that is the dual mating strategy in full effect there. Alpha, ducks, beta bucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so women would date me for the steak, but they would date Cole Williams for other things. Rest in peace, Cole Williams.
Yeah. All right, we on screen right now. We can play that now. Right, let me turn off that. No audio for this.
When you're this close to hiring a professional matchmaker. This is the same lady, folks. This very lady here. She is the same lady who said she ain't doing nothing for no man. Wait, let me get Keisha. What Keisha is here? Let me get Keisha. I ain't hear Keisha in a little bit. She ain't doing for no man. She ain't cooking, she ain't cleaning, she ain't setting you up your appointments, nothing so.
Nothing.
Yeah, she ain't doing none of them things. Right. But now you looking for a matchmaker. Why? Because at the end of the day,
feeling
we all
lonely.
want. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, belly bird here.
Yeah.
You know, you belly
237, 237.
237 could hit wrong, you in there. You know, we get so it's hard to talk, but at the end of the day, we all want somebody to roll over at 237 and ask, you still sleeping? You sleeping?
Or it's not even to but ain't even to say that you're just sleeping. Like sometimes at 237 you just want that comfort, a cuddle. You roll over and feel that as a man. Cool. You feel that little pooch back. You're like, all right, man. Shoot. Your rain start to come down hard and you say, oh, feel a little chilly. Everybody want that. Everybody want that.
Everybody want a little love in this system.
Yeah.
Somebody to consumption commonality, somebody to share the things that you like with you. That everybody want that. You know what I mean? Let me backtrack again. See Marley in the house. Good to you. Good night to you.
Marley come to get trouble. Thanks for staying up with us, Marley.
Yeah, because it gotta be. Headed for 2 o'clock out there.
Yep.
Past 2 actually. And she says she was polyamorous for about 5 years, and that brought the bonding process. That's the thing, right? No, here's the thing. Matter of fact, I can leave that for another show because I saw it on Tuesday. Somebody said that they are essentially comfortable being single, and we can talk about
that. If I may, polyamory, while it's not something I necessarily would ascribe to, what I would say is that that's a good way to keep everything in check. Even though you gave the anecdote earlier with my man was in a polyamorous relationship, but he still feel ways that somebody else is in his shift, but he vets that the other co-worker that put his job, right? I think that if that is something that you are open to, Derek did mention about sharing, if that's something you're open to, and then if you are open indeed to sharing, just that is a way to kind of mitigate that feeling, because as Rian said, the man or woman is unavailable. They got somebody or they have other people. So you would just say, look, I just trying to get this, loving off or whatever. But again, I think that there is a shelf life, a very short shelf life on casual relationships for most people. That's just my belief. I have no empirical data. I just feel that at some point it's just say, you know what, I ain't about this stress no more.
But we see the effects earlier tonight. We see what the research says. Loneliness. But the other thing, I want to go back. Let me just do a quick duck over here. Yeah, loneliness and happiness, rejection. Yeah, perception and negative judgment. So things there, man, real. You know what I mean? Again, we don't make it up. That's what it is.
No, we do not.
Yeah. Right. And they see may have done that to Rihanna. They just say, yeah, what's going on? Any kind of human interaction is give and take, says Marley. I'm good alone. At 2:37, I'm awake or sedated. No time for a man. That's unfortunate. You have to get over your jealousy with polyamory.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, but here's a question I have for the ladies in the chat, right? Have men approached y'all on that casual, like, yeah, I just trying to lash and dash? You open to that? And have you found that approach? Probably not as crass, but like, you know, I like you. I would like to, you know you in the biblical sense by not looking for a relationship. How have you responded? Has any woman ever said, we obviously talking to women in chat, has any woman ever said, well, all right, sure, you kick it?
Only today, a colleague of mine was saying she got a very interesting DM from a young boy, right? And but essentially, yeah, you know, what's going on? How it can make you minds. She go like, yeah, with the S, you know. And she kind of, like I said, she's a couple years older than us, so that wasn't the best way for him to approach a woman like that. And my mom was like, at the end of it, I was like, but yeah, he just want, you know, deal with you though, and he didn't say deal with you. You know, so better stick it up. Please be mindful, folks. As I said, I would have said on an earlier live stream, the men in our age group, this is the last man that know about Luther Vandross and that kind of thing, Bram at night, the R&B and that kind of thing.
We belong together.
Yeah, men after me really talk about that is, yeah.
It's, you know, that's so true. Because
Staggering.
She's on, bro. You got a Molly Brutal Crank star. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, young boys nowadays are listening to Nassau. You ain't listening to Nassau, so understand what you want. You know?
I see Rihanna saying, I have had it, but the men were undesirable. I find it
because that men are got nothing to lose. So
that's what I was just
come forward.
Men shooting the shot, man.
My percentage low, so coming forward anyway.
You know they got some people we play basketball with. We could off the top know man that would always fire. Men in the good, you know. The men hitting slides the backboard, men airballing. These men in the good. However, the man will hit the game winner, 1 of 8 for the field. A reason I am that guy. I'm a killer.
I'm that guy.
So there are some people that have the confidence to shoot their shot. Me personally, I would not approach a woman with that. I've never approached a woman on that level. So it's just interesting. It is interesting how, because I guess if you are a man that is desirable, if you are a man that you get that type of attention and you are in that upper echelon of men that do get that attention, you're gotta be out there. You know what I mean? Like that can come to you. That can come to you. You
don't gotta be out there running it down.
It's true, cause I know some of my friends, man, DMs gotta be stink. Man, DMs stink.
Yeah, but we had this conversation deal a few weeks ago in person. We identified a handful of guys who it mattered not what they did. Women followed them blindly, and these are men in our cohort, men our age and stuff like that. women followed these men. They knew that these men had other women. They know that these men had women in front them, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And these women were cool with it. They were cool to go along with because I guess they figured they could get the clout from just being in his orbit or whatever. You know what I mean? These things happen. You know, these things happen right here in Barbados.
In Barbados, yep.
Right? As I tell you, we don't make it nothing we can hear. We come with stats, data, facts. Yeah, to make sure that everything above board.
Mm-hmm.
Cut and curry, as they used to say back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, folks, we ain't seeing nobody calling in. It is 19 minutes past the hour of 9 in Barbados and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. We can hit the like button a couple more times here, so that'd be great. That would be great. But yeah, the Rihanna's just a case of the man pelting anything at the wall and hope some stick.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why you were being approached by those guys. Yeah, law probability.
Man,
Shoot enough bullets, won't go to hit.
I want to hear more from the women though. Marley and Rihanna and the only women in here. I want to hear more from the women, man. If you can, just please let us know if men does approach you, and if men does approach you on that level. If you say, man, all right, fair, very well, right? I call my lovers as intimate companions. A few men proposition me, but fuck buddies do not last as long as lovers. Oh, okay, I understand now. So, you know about the fuck buddy thing, you calling them lovers. What's the difference between a fuck buddy and a lover? Like, y'all not in a relationship?
It's like a gentleman caller. After a certain age, you can't say you got a boyfriend, you got a gentleman caller. So that's really it is. You know what I mean? It's just a euphemism. You know, somebody getting the stick.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. Okay, if you're okay, so let's understand between fuck buddies and lovers, there ain't a chance of us getting together. We're not in a space to get together. Is that with lovers that there's a possibility or there's an openness to one day get there?
Nah.
So what is the difference between lovers and fuck buddies? As a matter of fact, I posit to you, fuck buddies ain't really buddies at all, right?
Pretty much.
Unless we talk.
I say, you tell you no, Neil. I'm gonna have sex with a woman. She get laid down tomorrow morning. The man really care, you know. If he ain't feeling she like that, it makes no difference to that man. He carry on. He there as normal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how men is operate when they come to the sex thing.
So I see Mari talking about lover is intimacy and companionship. So I just trying to distinguish. So with a lover, right? So lovers, there is no commitment. Fuck buddies is no commitment either. But you run in the risk of, with lover and you got intimacy and companionship, you run in the risk of not setting up certain
catching feelings,
it ended very badly. So to me, this is interesting, fascinating stuff. Dating and sex ain't easy in these times. That's a fact. No, I just find it interesting, Marley, because to me, I don't see a distinction between lovers and fuck buddies. If you're just having sex, you being intimate. With lovers, you just running the risk of it going badly, really badly. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't have those conversations, you just run the risk of one day.
Does it say the facts needed? Loneliness, unhappiness, rejection.
Yeah.
All them things, you know what I mean? So that's what you would get because the parameters ain't clear. You know? If it is just that, you can go and say it's just that.
You can't catch feelings if you have multiple lovers. This is so fascinating. Marley, you speak a lot about polyamory and having a lot of lovers. I'm just curious as to how do you mitigate that situation? Is that something you seek out? Is that preferred for you? I just find it curious because me personally, I find multiple lovers to be. I've never, well, let me knock on wood because I don't know. I hope that I have never been with multiple lovers, like because I might be with one woman, but I know how many people she with. I hope that was never the case, right? But I just wonder if that is a conversation that is had. Is that my say, look, is you and 3 other women. So if you want peace on the roster, I got space.
But
for
some
you.
men do that. You know, sure, when we look at the Nick Cannons and the futures of this world, them is
But those are men of means. Those are desirable men. So we're talking about
hold on, we got levels to this thing. We already established about levels to this thing. And then man might not got long money like Future and P. Diddy and then kind of men, but there are women in Barbados who have been with men for years and the men ain't taking them on. Not for this serious relationship. Then women know what time it is. Then women know their role. That's true. Sometimes them is going man too. Right? But they understand, but yeah, that is my real man.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else can come true, but that is my real man over there.
That's his staunch.
He got a woman. That's my real man. That's staunch man. He got a woman. He got a wife, but that's my man. She don't know that that's my man too. But that's my man.
I remember. No, you thought Staunch I mean. I remember a buddy of mine, he had a t-shirt company called Staunch I mean back in the day. Jeez, all right, look. That was such a clothing brand. I loved it. Staunch I mean.
At the end of the day, right? And I don't buy into the concept of multiple people being the barrier that protects you from feelings, because again, attraction and a choice. So if you dealing with somebody that you're attracted to, at some point somebody gonna hit that spot and you be like, kind of like this. Are you gonna want that way to hit your spot more?
Yeah, they want it to hit this here more regular.
Yeah,
on your timetable.
Yeah, so I remember Steve is talking about the rosters, the Rastafarians, right? So
yep.
You might go a little rotation, little you call it another word. You got a little rotation going on, little roster thing going on Monday to Friday, and suddenly you realize the Monday my it ain't nice. So you say, oh, I can give Monday and Friday. All right, give Monday and Wednesday. The map and Wednesday, no, he got share choose over somebody else or saying, you know what I mean?
You know, this all like
want more access.
We got a buddy.
Man.
We got a buddy of ours that he in his job he's a manager and he has to literally figure out rosters. And to hear you talk about it is he's talking about it the same way. And he must be like, yeah, you know, this person can't work for this day because this person, you know what I mean?
Correct. Like, so it's like, you know,
this person don't can't get bus late. It's a very shifted. It's hilarious. So you put it.
So you go through it like that. You say, you know what? All right, but Benzema pull up this week, so Monday he can get Monday and Wednesday. Cause Benzema can't control. All of a sudden, no Benzema afflicted to get back in the rotation. You know how it's going because shoot.
So now he talking about Brother Glorious right
now. Yo, folks, it's 27 minutes past the hour of night in Barbados, West to Eastern Caribbean. You are indeed watching the Senate podcast. Hit the like button before. Hit the like button. We are about to get on here because, you know, shoot, when they calling. Philip says, but if the relationship is just sex, unless the two people have like spots for hearts, get along. The situation gets sticky when either man or woman catches feelings. Yeah? That's the fact. And you're trying for people not to tug the wheel and, you know, if you put a triangle, stay upon triangle. Yeah? But anyhow, folks, this has been a show tonight. It's been not as contentious as I was hoping, but it's been a good one. Nonetheless, I always enjoy the conversation about these kind of topics. Neil and I, we don't make any rules. We just make sure you know what they are. Be the best version of you for you. We can see you all again soon. Well, yeah, you can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality, right? I got the dashboard today and said we up to 300 and something people again with this COVID thing. So again, remember. Yeah, so wear your mask, folks. Be safe out there. We can see you all. Look up for a short coming tomorrow. Not a short coming, but short coming tomorrow. We can hear you all again soon. Peace.
Peace and love, everybody.